Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandalo Mahi Radha Kundam Giribaramahu Radhika Madhavasyam Prapto Jasya Pratikipayo Sri Guru Dham Natosmi. You all have to wear a janai.
You wear janai also?
Yes, somewhere. It's hiding. It's there. It's there somewhere. So, and so, yeah, you chat. You wrap your finger around it. You know, you find the little. It's a little.
Sikha.
Sikha, the little point on it, the string, and you wrap your thumb, and then you chant your Gayatri every day, 3 times a day if you can, morning, noon, and Masu bata aikachan, derai rogaru masu bata aikachan. Just die swine flu, bird flu, coronavirus. We can add heart disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia. All of this comes from too much meat and dairy. So, Sakahari Bano, this is the bottom string. The nations talks, you'll see scientists of Sabai Doyagarnus, Satilai Nomarnus, Satilai Nakanus, Sabai Lai Jivan Premagarnus. Shakahara Kana Noi, Swastikar Jivan, Bitao Noi Ekmatra Upayaho. Very Ramro Desh, very Sundar Desh.
Namaste, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dai. So, I'm glad to be here. Nepal is very nice people, and very Ramro Desh, very Sundar Desh, with the beautiful Himalayas, and very good-hearted people, very gentle. Everywhere you go, I was just telling my friends today how I'm so happy to be here, as opposed to Western countries. They're like Rakshasa everywhere. They're fighting every time. They're walking up, you know, trying to steal, or it's an aggressive mentality. Where this country is very, very peaceful. People are usually hello, hello, namaste.
Thank you so much for appreciating us.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Which language would you prefer, Nepali or in English?
Kripiya maaf karus, mera Nepali deri alikati samasta. So I don't know
so
so much.
you understand Nepal language?
I know about 10%, but I have only lived here about 2 years, and
I'll ask the questions in Nepal language. If you feel any kind of trouble by understanding the word, you can ask me.
Okay.
So shall I ask you in Nepali?
I'll try and I'll see what I can do.
So what you have wear in your body?
Oh, this. This was a gift. I usually don't wear this so much. This is Rudraksh beads, you know, from very holy. Yes, but I don't. Krishna Pranamis and these devotees of the Vaishnava faith, they wear this tulasi beads, which is
tulasi ko mala.
Tulasi mala, called mala. Yes, is what it's called, Tulasi Kumala. So we like to wear just to be a servant, to remind us like a leash, that we don't have our own independence. We are all under the control of the Supreme Lord. His eye is like these lights. They're watching us every moment. So we cannot hide from the truth. So that's why we have to do very good activities constantly. Then we can only attain prema bhakti, love of God, if we constantly think of Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Janma karma chavedivam evam yo veti tatvata tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti swarjuna. So he says, whatever you, just know why I come to this planet. That's what he's saying. Know my janma, my birth, my karma, my activities, and then think about them constantly. Manmanavam hadbhakto majji mam namaskaru mame vaisya satyam te pratijine priyosimi. Then you will become very dear to me. If you always think of me, bow down to me, worship me, then automatically you will come to me. And that's what he says in the Gita. So many shlokas about this kind of thing. So it's an active process. You can't just say sarva dharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebo moksha. You just surrender doesn't mean, okay, I surrendered and then you can go drink alcohol. No, it doesn't mean that. It means you have to constantly, every day, read the Shastra, listen to the Shastra, and chant the Shastra. Like Nama Shreshtam Manamapi Sachi Putra Matra Svarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Marupurim Maturim Gostavatim Radha Kundam Giribaramahu Radhika Madhavasyam Prapto Jasya Pratikipayo Sri Guru Dham Natosmi, Sri Guru Gyananidina Bandhu, Swanandata Kurunaika Sindhu, Brindavanasina, Hitabhatara, Prasida Radha, Parnaya Prajara. Anyway, there's so many mantras we sing every day, and the Gayatri mantra is one of the things. So we wear a janai.
You know Gayatri mantra also?
Of course, yes. So you all have to wear a janai.
You wear janai also?
Yes, somewhere. It's hiding. It's there. It's there somewhere. So yeah, you chant. You wrap your finger around it. You know, you find the little. It's a little.
Sikha.
Sikha, the little point on it, the string, and you wrap your thumb, and then you chant your Gayatri every day. 3 times a day if you can, morning, noon, and night. And then you can also, it's another reason to remember of Bhagavan, of the Goloka. Govinda is the one who gives pleasure to the cows unlimitedly. And Gopal is the one who's protecting the cow. And his planet, of course, is called Goloka. So if you are thinking of cows constantly, trying to protect cows, Gai Bachao Abhiyan, then of course you will attain to the planet of Govinda he wants you to be. So this is a very important to meditate on these things and not just get stuck in the world of driving here, running there, and trying to make just money, because material things won't bring us happiness. And it's actually destroying the world. All of this mentality, the West has come here and destroyed the Eastern idea of peace and gentleness and prayer and meditation and mantra and dancing and chanting and prasad. You know, taking prasad is mercy food, makes your body healthy, happy, and holy, and it also is very good for the mind. And if you don't travel so much, you have less chance of accidents, less chance of getting sick. If you don't eat meat and dairy too much, no meat is never recommended because it's very tamasic, and it's also causes violence. If you can see the animals, they have an eye. They have a heart, they have a liver, the kidney, digestive system, they have everything that you and I have. We are all technically animals, but we just think we're the best of the best. And that's because this is ahankar, this ego, is thinking that we are better than the God who created us, and better. But if God created all these animals, then they're also his children. So how can we hurt their children? We have to protect the children, our children. But if we want to protect the world, which the United Nations is saying, and I'll read you something from in Nepali in a moment, from United Nations and from leading scientists in the world who are saying we don't have a choice. It's not a choice unless the human population of the world becomes vegan. Within the next few years, life will end. And that means your children will die before they reach your present age, and the meat and dairy cause more suffering and environmental damage than all the wars in history. And according to the United Nations, according to Stanford University's Environmental Sciences, Mark Jacobson, and Berkeley University's Dean of Environmental Sciences, his name's David something, I met with them, they're saying that these fires are heating the air almost 1 million times faster per second than carbon dioxide. And nobody's talking about it. They're talking about, oh, the carbon dioxide or the methane gas from the animals. Yeah, the methane gas is worse. Maybe 120, 125 times worse than carbon dioxide, but not 1 million times worse. Just give a quick example, like the fires, the smoke has a smoke, right? So not only the fire is so hot, 1 million times faster heating the air, but the smoke is dark, usually black or brown, and it's heated from the sun's rays, and you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of layers of this smoke running for days, weeks, and now even months continually in the air, hit by the sun and radiating that heat. And that heat is causing our climate destruction and overheating. That's why in the last 2 years I was told from the trekkers that they have had lost up to 40 feet of snow, and there's no snow on the first base camp now. In just 2 years, it disappeared because there's so much heat in the air. And so to stop that, the animals can have what they were created to do, is live in the wild. We release them into the woods. They eat all the fire hazardous growth. They stop the fires. And because that's where the fires move, is on the ground. They eat the plants, the bushes, and the leaves of the small trees, the goats, the sheep, the cows, and then they defecate. That means they soften the ground so the water can enter into the ground and fertilize the ground. Everything is perfect by nature, Mother Nature. So But they also needed to die there. And now people are cutting the animals, killing the animals, and they're cooking the animals. And the billions and billions of fires are cooking every single day these animals. And it takes only 1 minute to cook a roti or a cup of spinach or a cup of tea, and it takes sometimes an hour to cook a big piece of meat, you know? And so, it's just people that have weddings, they're cooking meat, it takes the whole day. So we have to stop the fires, have to stop the killing, and we even have a banner here. I'll show you. We have many banners printed. I've walked across many countries.
Yeah, please.
And this one says, Derai Rogaru Masu Bata Aikachan.
So will you mind to speak these words, what you have written at there?
Yes, we're gonna have in English. You want to read?
Yeah, Nepal language.
Oh yes, Derai Rogaru Masu Bata Aikachan. Justai swine flu, bird flu, coronavirus. We can add heart disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia. All of this comes from too much meat and dairy. So Shakahari Bano, this is the bottom straight. And you can also see on the other side here, if you want to see how to end violence and world hunger, there's a YouTube channel called Enviro Diet. It's one word. And there, if you take a picture scan that barcode, which is worldguardians.org, you can see Enviro Diet there. And you'll see United Nations talks, you'll see scientists, of TED Talk speakers, very excellent, qualified doctors, why meat and dairy cause all these problems, health, and how it's destroying the planet. And the animals can help us, like I was just saying, if they're free. So that's my mission here, to get people to go back to the simple living of Vaishnava, Buddhist, Hindu type living, compassionate, and love all creatures. Sabai lai doya garnus, sati lai nomarnus, sati lai nakanus, sabai lai jivan prema garnus.
That's your message to all the audience.
That's my main message, yeah. Because if you do that and think of, the prema bhakti, think of the scripture, the Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Puranas, the Upanishads, and all of this comes very clear to you that if this world explodes or life may finish according to United Nations, you'll read that. And I'll read it in Nepali. If it finished, then don't worry, because God is with you and you will be safe.
म तपाईलाई केही अरु प्रश्नहरु गर्छु गरौँ Shall I ask you some questions?
Yeah. If you want me first, or want me to read this Albert Einstein Bandachan, Shakahara Kana Noi Swastikar Jivan, Bitao Noi Ekmatra Upayaho. Okay, and there's another quote here from Bill Gates, which is saying Abako Aone Samai Sama Yari Sangsar Ko Saboy Mani Shuru Vegan Food Shakahara Kana Prayo Garni Suru Garni Chainan Taba Sama Sangsar Noi Nas Hune Cha Artat Hamra Babalika Haru Hamro Umer Band, is that what that says? Umer Banda Pani Kam Umer Moy Sangsar Marnechan False for Rup Sangsar Ko Astitwa Noi Katarama Cha Tisoile Babishwa Ko Masu Vegan Food Shakahara Kana Nai Ho Karaswar Uste Tara Masu Hoina. Bill Gates. That's a good quote from him.
Yeah, that's the quotes from Bill Gates. Yeah.
Yes. And he was it wasn't just him; it was scientists informing him, because he's aware that there's catastrophic. If the United Nations report, it's called the IPCC report, came out on my birthday, October 2018, and it said that we may have irreversible climate problems. That means most life could die. It means 800, maybe 1 million species, maybe more species, including many humans, and disappear from this earth if it heats up 2 degrees Celsius. And now we've already almost reached that in the last, what's that, 6 years. So we have to reverse it now, and the animals can help us get them out there. So that's our message for the world peace and the world planet protection. And the Vaishnava is something internal. Sorry, go ahead.
So that's your message. In my single questions, you elaborate everything. Okay. तपाईले थोरै नेपाली बुझ्नुहुन्छ भनेको भएर म नेपालीबाट केही प्रश्न गर्छु बुझ्नु भएन भने you can ask me in an English language.
Okay.
रुद्राक्ष.
Yes.
Yeah, that rudraksha.
Right.
Why did you wear it? तपाईले यो किन लगाउनु?
Oh, like I say, I don't usually wear it, but it was a gift to me the other day, and so was this chadar.
Yeah.
It was a gift. Chadar, you call it?
Yeah, khada. Yeah.
Khada. In India, they call it chadar, so it's a little different sounding. But here, it was given to me in Nepal. It looks like it's Shiva and Durga together, Parvati, and their Ganesh there sitting there. So. Just because a Krishna Pranami or a devotee of Krishna is thinking, Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarva Karna Karanam, or Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Gatvamam Shantamrichiti, saying, you know that Sanskrit? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand it.
Okay. So I should explain or no? I don't need to explain. Anyway, he's
so
saying
you have to explain it for the audience.
People. Yeah. So it's saying in the Bhagavad Gita that he's the enjoyer of everything, Bhoktaram, enjoyer of all sacrifices and penances and all offerings. And so he's boldly saying that he's the greatest God, right? And so many children he's had, so many sons and daughters, and he's created. But so many small demigods. So we don't say Shiva is a lower god. We say he's a demigod, but he's respected. And sometimes even Krishna comes as Shiva when there is not a high quality person who can fulfill that position of Shiva. So actually, Shiva is highly respected, and Durga gets very angry. One time in the Ramayana, she's wondering why. She's complaining to Shiva, says, you're the greatest. And Shiva says, well, why are you always chanting, other names? He says, well, of God. He says, well, there's another God greater than me. And then she gets very angry. Why are you worshiping, another? Why am I worshiping you? You're not the greatest? And then he says, no. It's higher to become the das anu das. To serve the servant, to serve the servant, slave. This is my only request from the cradle to the grave. So if we can serve the servant of God, because God will not, the devotee of God, Krishna, Govinda, does not want to take service from Krishna. So, but if another servant comes to serve that Shiva, Parvati is serving him, then that's even a higher position. Vaishnavar to Shambhu means Shiva is the greatest of Vaishnavas. So he's the greatest servant of Vishnu. He puts the Vishnumati on his head. He catches. So that is the holy feet of Vishnu. Krishna becomes also Vishnu. And sometimes in the dictionary it says he's the seventh incarnation, Krishna, of Vishnu, but actually Krishna is the Adi Purush. He is the first created being, if you dig in the scriptures, and it just...
As per Krishna Pranami.
As per Krishna Pranami,
yeah,
yes.
As per Hindu, the Shiva is the greatest God, or Vishnu is the greatest. Leave it.
Yeah, we don't...
It doesn't matter.
Yes, sure.
But tapaile, when you were in USA, California, why did you choose to be a Hindu?
Well, I didn't become a Hindu. Hindu China, Vaishnava.
Okay.
Yeah, Vaishnava is just something that I studied Christianity for a while. My parents are Sikh. Oh. The turbans, pagaris, Sardarjis. They're from Punjab. They have a guru called Kirpal. My middle name is Kirpal. Means protection of creation. So I studied a little bit, but I didn't like it so much. But my mother would take me to many religious groups.
So by birth you were a Christian? By birth,
no. By birth I was Sikh.
Oh, Sikh.
Yeah, and then I studied some Christian group, religious science, and I liked that a little bit, but it didn't give me so much ananda,
Oh.
And like there's a
pleasure, satisfaction.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the ultimate goal. It's not very described what you're going to do in heaven. And the Catholics say it's a mystery. That's because they don't know what it is either. So the thing is there's a poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur he wrote, this beautiful poem. I don't know if you want me to read it because it's 23 verses long. But in one part of the poem he says, man's life to him a problem dark, a screen both left and right. No soul has come to tell us what exists beyond his sight. But then a voice, how deep and soft within ourselves is left, Man, man, thou art immortal soul, thee death can never melt. For thee thy sire on high has kept a store of bliss above. Till end of time thou art, oh, his who wants but purest love. You know, so we shouldn't forget, that's what the Guru comes from, the Vaikuntha Lok, the highest gurus, the highest teachers, you know. Maybe even Jesus came from a higher place, but he didn't, he's the Son of God, but Krishna is the God, right? He's the Father. So that's why it's very detailed. It describes in detail what people do when they go to Goloka, when they're doing in the other spiritual worlds, or even heavenly planets are not spiritual. Indraloka, you know, this is in the Mrityalok. This is all in the material world. This Brahmanda, even Shivalok, even all these are in the material world. And so to cross the Viroja river, that is the spiritual world, and that is Vaikuntha Loka. And in Vaikuntha Loka, there's Goloka, the planet of the cows. So it's a place of consciousness, of dedication, of love and devotion. You don't have to jump there and fly there. You will go there within, and you don't have to conquer the world and travel around and kill people and kill the planet and kill anyway, you can just become very peaceful on prasad, and you become very gentle. And you'll see on my YouTube channel that my family members confirm I never hit a woman, and I never had a piece of chicken my whole life. And my brother, yes, honestly. And my brother is actually better than me. You know why? Because he's never even yelled at his wife. He's been with her 19 years. And he's never had a piece of chicken either. So valuing all, you know, is Bhagawan Ra, Parvatili, Budale, Sayukta Rastrale, Hamilai, Shakahari Dekna Chahanunja. And so if we can listen to these gurus, these teachers, these gods and goddesses, and in the United Nations themselves, they realize no one for thousands of years has been trying to stop violence in this world, but no one has thought to stop violence to the animals first. Everybody's thinking, oh, we can't kill these people, or we can't kill these people, but they're fighting, and it's always going on. Hey, but I've never hit a woman. Think about a prison. We have a prison that went thoughtfully. I was telling Govinda Tandon today, I had a meeting with, and it was very nice. And B.K. Shrestha in his place in Butali, yes, and was it Sri Kunja, and there was a lady there who climbed the Himalayas, both sides, a journalist. You know her? I forget her name. I videotaped her today, and but she was there too. But Govinda Tandon and I were talking. It's like, yeah, the violence. I proved that. We have a prison in California that proves that people become very gentle, very good Ramro munches if they don't eat any meat and any. So they thoughtfully vegan diet, valuing. So if you're going to have any dairy product, that's okay, but you have to protect the cows. If you're not protecting it and putting it on the street.
गाई बचाऊ शाकाहारी बनाऊ भन्ने तपाईको यो अभियान अन्तर्गत तपाईले यो कुराहरु भनिराख्नु भएको छ. You are elaborating regarding that.
Yes, cow.
To be a vegan.
To be a vegan is probably a vegan, and it's the best thing right now, because now the milk has changed because of all the hormones they put in the animals, all the pesticides they put on the grasses and the plants they're eating. Yeah. It goes right into their flesh and into their milk, and women who are pregnant are putting that right into their placenta, right into their babies' bodies, and so the babies are being deformed and born sick. There's so many other problem. But you'll see that from the doctors. Let them on the YouTube channel, EnviroDiet, from the what the hell.
Will you mind to tell that how did you get this all knowledge from whom?
All the knowledge. I learned. Listen, I can speak a little of 72 languages. I can't speak any language.
72 languages.
No, 72 bhasha.
72 वटा भाषा.
Ali khatis 72 bhasha bolte. So just a little of 72. I can't say. Like I say, I can say. I can just say thousands and thousands of phrases in those languages. That's all I can do. I can't speak any language fluently, not even English properly, right? So that's my problem. But I just learned. But your brain gets very clear when you don't have any animal, especially any meat products, because your blood gets thick, as you learn on the What the Health documentary on the EnviroDiet YouTube channel.
Yeah, we'll watch.
Yeah, you'll watch later. Yeah, but it gets thick instantly within minutes. After you eat animal products, your blood gets more viscous, more thick, and it can't feed your brain very properly, and so your brain starts dying. And they get dementia. People get dementia, not Alzheimer's like they think. Their brain doesn't develop properly and it dies younger, and they generally, not 100% of the time, but that's the case.
अब तपाईले यो सबै ज्ञानहरु जे प्राप्त गर्नुभयो नि
Well,
Guru.
I'm not a guru. I'm a servant, like I said, of gurus and a servant of teachers. Guru just means teacher. People don't have to make it a big, scary word, But this we chant japa. Japa mala means there's beads in here, tulsi beads, and we chant on them every day, and your mind gets very clear. And from
you chant it every day.
Yes, we try every day to chant 16 rounds going around as 108 beads, and when we chant. We chant first Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda, and then we chant Hare Krishna the Maha Mantra, Hare Rama Rama Rama. It's 16 mantras altogether, and then after you do that, then your mind becomes more peaceful, and if you have problems, that's very, very nice too.
Who gave this knowledge to you?
Srila Prabhupada came to America back in 1965, the year before I was born. And in that year, he was teaching in America because the Indians wouldn't listen to him anymore. But because he had such determination, he was translating the scriptures into English, these Bhagavad Puranas, these amazing books that he wrote, The Science of Self-Realization, and compilations of his things, and also Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. I learned from him, his closest god brother, who he loved very dearly, considered his own Shiksha Guru, teacher. So I learned from both of them very much, and from their followers, and from their friends. But I also learned from my own heart what sounds right, and that's what I did, yeah.
So these all knowledge you learned from your labor and through your Guru, Govinda Maharaj?
Govinda Maharaj, Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, through friends of the in ISKCON and the Chaitanya Saraswat Math, those two groups I associated with. I helped by Sheshika Prabhu, and I worked with him in California. He's very nice guru there too. And Patri Prabhu here in Nepal, very nice too. And he speaks Nepali very well. You can listen to his talks too.
तपाईलाई मन्त्रहरु पनि आउँछ?
Mantras.
गायत्री मन्त्र.
So many mantras, right?
गायत्री मन्त्र.
Gayatri mantra. We know hundreds of shlokas, and from the different various. And we also have bhajans we sing. Common bhajans and more complicated bhajans. Simple bhajans like Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Hari Gopala Hari, Jaya Jaya Deva Hari. There's just so many things, but we usually sing in groups because that's what Sankirtan means, to sing in a group of people and to always become happy together, Samyak, Kirtan means group together chanting in Sanskrit.
तपाईले वेद पनि पढ्नु भएको छ?
Vedas, Alikat. Ved just means the word know, to know. People think, what does Vedas mean? There's so much. There's a verse that says, Aham Vedmi Shuko Veti Vyaso Veti Naveti Dva. It says, I know the Vedas. Sukadev, the son of Vyasadeva, he knows the Vedas, but Vyasadeva may or may not know what he's written. So it's
Rig Ved, Yajurved, Atharva Ved, Samved.
Yeah, 4 Veds, and Atharva, Samved.
Have you studied them?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Mostly, like I say, we focus on the Puranas because it deals with the pastimes of Govinda. And we want to think whatever we like. There's many verses in the Gita that tell us that we should think of Krishna. Yad karoshi yarashnashi yaj jahoshi dadashi yat tapasyashi kontya tad karushva madarpanam. I think that's how it goes. But it says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, just give that as an offering to me. Yagartart kamanyonatra loko yam karma bandhana tarartam karma kontaya mukta shangama samachara. We have to do this sacrifice for Vishnu, otherwise it causes bondage, our activities. If we do it for our own sense gratification, our own prestige, then we are doing it for the wrong thing, and we're not helping the planet. We have to do it. So, if you learn the shlokas, then you think of Krishna. You're thinking of service. You're thinking of helping the planet, because there's a verse that says, I think verse 5, chapter 5, verse 15, and verse 25 of chapter 5. is also talking about the greatest yogis, he's saying, are the ones who are doing good activities constantly, in his opinion, you know. So we can't just sit there, you know, and meditate, you know. In Kali Yuga, it's very hard to sit there and say Om, 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 and just go into peace, because peace is very hard. Your mind cannot stop for a second thinking. So if you try to start your mind, it's almost impossible. That's why they recommend active chanting. So you chant while you cook. My mother would do that when I was a child. Before I was born, she was vegetarian even, and she never gave us any meat. And she taught us to take bugs out of the house, and then we respect. And she would say mantras silently in her mind. It's called Simran in the Punjabi Sikh philosophy. And while you're saying mantras, you're actually thinking of God's name, Sat Nam. That's one of the mantras she says, the true name, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. So you think the true name, the eternal name, and you meditate on these things, and you carefully look at your vegetables and fruits. You take out the bad spots, and she still is 85 years old and still is healthier than most people that are even 60. And very strong. She can drive very fast too.
Oh.
So she may come to Nepal too. And she still picks up garbage on the ground. And that's what we teach the children also in Nepal, to please safa garnus, please be clean, please recycle, get a hold of the garbage before the parents throw it in the rivers, before they burn it. No jalune. That's much more toxic than the black smoke that is coming from the wood. It's because it is toxic microplastics in the atmosphere from the burning. And when it goes in the oceans, which comes, or the rivers, it gets stuck there and starts breaking apart, and then people drink that up, pull that up. It seeps into the water systems under the ground, and it also gets pumped out of the river onto the fields. And we're drinking more. There was a study recently done, Chris, the professor I brought from America, who was teaching the classes with me, he's saying that we're digesting, and there's a study about one plastic credit card of microplastics per week, our body, something like that. It's we're digesting, and that's why the cancer is up, the thyroid problems are up.
Yeah.
It's insane, but it is mostly meat. Sorry.
तपाईले यो जे अभियान चलाउनु भएको छ, the movement that you are spreading in the world. So are you satisfied with this, that whatever you are doing?
I'm happy doing it. I love doing it with the Nepali people, because they've been very respectful. The police help me. They encourage the cars to stop and look in the intersections. I hold this up, these banners, and the people look. Every single person practically that can see this, and I hold it up very high on banners that are like literally, bamboo that goes over 15 feet tall, sometimes even 20 feet. But they can see that, and when the people can read it, then and they see a moving figure that's not in Nepali, they're shocked, and they read it even more. And what is he doing? What is he doing? Coronavirus? What is this? Masu hoina. Mangsahari aparadi. Manav banhos raksas hoina. There's so many things that come to my mind that I've said, but I don't want to make people feel bad, because they're not bad people, but they just don't realize it's destroying the planet. Animal agriculture is related, according to the World Bank advisors in 2009. They said 51% of the climate problem. Burning down the forests, cutting down the forests, and growing crops to feed. We could end world hunger. You can see on that YouTube channel also, world hunger can be finished. We could feed twice as many people, double the amount of 8 billion people. We could feed 16 billion people right now if we just would feed them plant-based foods. We could grow so many crops, but then the animals would eat all the fire hazardous growth and have a job and freedom simultaneously. They wouldn't be harming anybody. They would be helping us, like they've done for millions of years. Anyway.
So, what's your further plan? तपाईको भोलिको योजनाहरु के छन् भविष्यको?
Well, I'm just going to try to just keep teaching schools. I'm trying to teach people in everywhere I can, and I'm going to try. I have a plan for the cows now. If you can look on this website, worldguardians.org, and also we have another website called. It's a little complicated. It's the earthguardians.org. So that's 4 words, the earthguardians.org. So that's just the dot there. And in that website, it goes into the details of how cows can help the planet and help the farmers in the Terai region, in the flat areas, from Butwal to the Terai. It's very damaged. Govinda Tondon told me also today that he's seen so many cows on the streets causing accidents and eating garbage and dying unhealthy. So the baby cows need to be in shelters, need to be given mostly makai, corn, pito, jaulu, and they can be vegan, but they have to have some supplements like vitamin D, some calcium, magnesium, those kind of things, and vitamin B12. But the bigger cows can have a job. If we guide the cows up on that website, the earthguardians.org, you'll see the cows are moving from one farm to another, and that's how, but they need international help, because for India and Nepal has not fixed this problem. And in America, I've only seen one cow my whole life on the streets.
Oh.
In America, yeah, we don't have that.
Only one cow?
Only one cow, because it's a $3,000 fine. That's a 3 lakh fine, or more than that, to have your cow on the street. So they don't want to get a fine, because the cows are labeled or branded. And so, and if we can protect the cows with international cow lovers and protectors, with the help of the Nepali people and the Nepali government, then the cow problems could be finished in 1 month. If we guide the cows up in groups of 1,000 to 5,000 and harness them into a farm, after the harvest, the grass is about this tall, then 1 foot tall, after they cut the wheat or the rice, and then they can come and they can eat that. And if they can eat that, then they have their food. And then they won't burn it. So a lot of times they burn it after the harvest.
Americans know about it,
and then they fertilize they get free fertilizer too, simultaneously. Yeah, Americans know about. They did this in Africa, and you can see one scientist did this in Africa. His name's Alan Savory. He did it for over 50 years, and he brought jungles back to Africa. But he made a mistake. Don't get me wrong. His name's Alan Savory, and he's on our website, World Guardians, the first website, at refertilizing desert and making rivers appear. But what the mistake was, they killed the animals afterward. And that's what happened, and then the fires came back. And they're burning more than 2 billion acres of land in Africa every single year because the animals aren't eating it. But if the animals can stay there, not be taken out and killed and cooked, murdered, and then fed to people, Rakshas food, then they will be healthy and they will help the planet. It's a simple thing. That's the #1 thing we can do. Give the animals their freedom and give them their job of what they've done for millions of years, eating everything. And so that's what we're trying to do for the farmers in the Terai region, and then in Haryana. We have a plan. We already have 2,500 cows waiting for us in Haryana, where we're going to take them from one farm and that'll be in November, maybe the end of October. Depends on what the government allows us to do in Dungari area.
So we are in the last part. What do you want to say to the audience or the people who are watching it?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I didn't know is this a television station? Because I know my friends have Deep TV around the corner in Pepsi-Cola. They're Vaishnavas. But I didn't know what this media was here. But I just want people to just be happy and go back to simple living as the gods wanted them to. And they can, think of whatever religion they're involved in. And I'm not trying to tell them to change, but the Vaishnava religion is a beautiful religion, and it's also a Hindu religion. So it's not, but at the same time, just stop violence, stop killing animals, their brothers and sisters. Kukura kaka bai sibaju bokabai, sabai sati, sabai pariwar. This is where all family members. Why should we eat them? Why should we kill them? And if we love it, sabai lai maya garnus, doya garnus, and then we live our life peacefully and stop traveling so much, stay in your own country, or appreciate Nepal. It's wonderful. See, a lot of Nepalis are leaving the country, working in other countries, and in Iraq, I think the government issued a statement, don't go there anymore, because over 700 people, I believe, died there, missed proper treatment, not used to the temperature, whatever. Why leave there? Break your family apart, you lose your wife, you lose your friends, then you don't know what, you lose your body. Why not stay and be happy and grow your own crop on your rooftop and in your yard, and you don't have to do so much pollution. You can learn how to, if the government, people can live in the mountains. It's very easy to live in the mountains in this country. You go stay there. You stay there for a year, no one can kick you off. Why? So why not? You can build an earth home, costs $50. There's a book called the $50 and Up Underground House Book. You could build that right in the side of a mountain. It's very simple. And you dig it out, you have the walls, and you just put plastic, and then you put wood over the top and put some windows and doors. It's a very simple lifestyle. And it's very healthy to grow your own crop right on your roof and around and you can play music, bhajan and kirtan, or whatever kind of music you like, and be happy and not to be.
So you know bhajan kirtan also?
So much, yeah.
So
I just bought a dolak just 2 days ago. I bought one dolak,
Dolak?
Yes, it's like a drum,
Yeah.
But I didn't bring it here. Sorry.
It's okay. So will you mind to chant any bhajan here?
Sure.
Bhajan gaidinनुहुन्छ?
Yeah, sure, I can chant one. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Gokula Taruni Mandalo Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandalo Mahite. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Vrishabhanu Dadhi Navashashi Lekhe Lalita Shaki Guna Ramita Vishakhe. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Karunam Kuru Mai Karuna Bharite. Shanata Shanatana Barnita Charite. Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe,
Jaya
Radhe, Jaya Radhe.
Jaya Radhe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your precious time to get here.
Very kusi lagyo. Thank you so much for your kindness to talk with me about this planet-saving, life-protecting, love-giving, and ahimsa dharma, parama dharma.
Ahimsa hi parama dharma. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.